Great question, Thaddeus. Castles of Dawnstone is a head-to-head deck-building game with a unique combat system and civilization management. The object of the game is to raise your opponent's city by dropping their city health to 0. I'm glad you asked. To set up, each player takes a city mat. Now, place 4 knights on top of the barracks. Be sure you do not cover up the green sword spaces below the barracks, while covering the red space and the 3-card symbol. Next, place 2 meeples in your idle peasant pool, and a slider clip at the bottom of your mat on the number 20 to indicate your starting health. Continue by placing 4 miners on your mine. Make sure they do not cover the green spaces on the right of the mine, while covering the red space and the track. Now, place your underdeveloped castle card on top of the castle art of your player mat, and do the same with your church. Now you gather your starting forces by shuffling together 3 knights, 3 miners, and 4 peasants to create your draw deck. That's a great point. If you have the portable version, your city construction will look like this. My lord, we're running out of room. Right. Well then, for the purposes of this explanation, we will simply set up one player's side. But just know that the other player must do all the same things we have done to this point and have a city of their own. Now, where was I? Thank you, Thaddeus. Now that each player has constructed a city, they each draw 5 cards from their draw deck. Next, we will take the dice, crystals, and the remaining meeples and place them in a central location. Also place the wound cards in a face-up deck where all of the players can reach. Yes, but not everyone shares your affinity for wounds, I'm afraid. Us mortals find them irritating. They don't do anything but take up space in your hand if you are so unfortunate to gain them. May we continue? All the remaining character cards are shuffled together to create a center deck. Draw 5 cards from this deck and place them face up in the center of the table. Now to the fun part. One player takes the following actions. Remember that hand of 5 cards you have from your city? Gather together a number of dice equal to the numbers on the top left of each card, and gain crystals equal to the total numbers on the top right of each card. Some characters may have additional skills to offer. These skills are referenced on the bottom of the card and are always optional to use. Some will add dice or crystals, so watch for that. If ever a skill calls for the destruction of a card, that card is removed from your deck and placed in a common destroyed cards deck. All right, Thaddeus. Not the wound cards. Just place the wound cards back in the wound deck if they are destroyed. Once you have gained all of your dice and crystals for the turn, you may do any of the following in whatever order you choose. You may spend your crystals to purchase cards from the 5 face-up cards in the center. This is done by paying the card's cost, then adding the card to your discard deck. Once a card is purchased, you immediately draw a new card from the center deck to replace it. If you don't like any of the available cards in the center, or your opponent likes them too much, you may pay 1 crystal to destroy any single card and immediately replace it. Yes, Thaddeus, you can destroy and purchase cards multiple times in a single turn, as long as you have the crystals to spend. Another thing you can do on your turn is attack your opponent. This is done by rolling the dice you have gathered. Each dice combination of 6 or greater will do 1 point of damage to your opponent. Okay, Thaddeus. Let's say you roll 4 dice. A 6, 4, a 3, and a 1. The 6 does 1 point of damage to your opponent. The 4 and 3 dice combined make a total of 7. This is greater than 6, so it does 1 more point of damage to your opponent. There are no dice left to combine with the 1, and it does not equal 6 or more, so it does no damage. The last thing you can do on your turn is use the skills on your cards. There are a lot of skills that do different things, but we are going to focus on moving and placing meeples. If a card allows you to place a meeple, like a peasant card, you may choose a meeple from any space in your city, or idle peasants, to place it at the start of an unoccupied track, in the next space on a track, or on any unoccupied single space. Just remember, if you choose to move a meeple off of a space or track, you immediately lose all benefits or progress from the space it was on. Cards like the Miner will allow you to move a meeple. To do this, the meeple must already be on a track. Then the meeple is moved one space along the track.
And when you're moving your meeples, don't forget to check the side of your mat to see what the spaces do.
You end your turn by discarding all of your cards, dice, and crystals, whether you use them or not. Then move meeples from any green spaces in your city to your idle peasant's pool. Then draw 5 new cards. If ever you do not have 5 cards to draw, you simply draw as many as you can. Then shuffle your discard pile to create a new draw deck and draw the remaining cards needed. Then your opponent takes their turn, and you repeat till someone tastes sweet, sweet victory.